Shivangi, how are you?
Great, great.
Hope all are
So,
connected right now.
yes. So I welcome the mentees and attendees for taking out time today and joining this webinar. Before we begin, this is just a gentle reminder. If you have any questions, which we'll take up at the end of the presentation, you can put it in the question and answer panel, which you'll be able to see in the lower panel of the screen. Other than that, if you have any queries, you can put it in the chat box. This webinar is in collaboration with QFIS. It's a live mentorship platforms which has a lot of mentors and guides who can guide you through your journey, who organize webinars like these. So if you're interested in knowing more about it, I can put in the link and we'll address those. So without any further ado, let's begin with the webinar. You can start off by introducing yourself.
Yeah, myself Sam. I do work as a freelance photographer. About my education, in the sense, I did my engineering in electronics and media. So after that, after completing my degree, I just assisted a photographer called Kiran. He's an advertising photographer. So after assisting him for years, later on I started as an independent photographer and I started shooting on my own. This is my small brief. So I do both cinematography and as well as advertising photography.
Okay. So that's your introduction. How do you want to begin? You want to play your presentation first, or you want to go with the question and answers, however you want to?
No, we'll go with the question and answers right now.
Okay. So how did you start off with the photography? Like, how did you come into this field?
I always do have some interest in the photography when I was a kid. During those days, the prints was so visible, so viable. Print always give you some sort of nostalgic feel to you. So I used to get addicted to those prints. So when I was a kid, I used to take photographs through my camera, through my phone. So when I was, as I said, I do have interest in prints. I always wanted to take a printout of the photos that during those days, I used to run to small chota shops nearby to take the prints. And there was one photographer, I doesn't know the name who he is. He was the one who saw my click. And during those days, I didn't know how to frame or how to, I don't know anything about it. But I just captured an image of my brother. So at that point, he just saw the frame and he just told me one simple thing. By cropping the image, just how to give importance to the frame. So he was my first teacher. I don't know who he is. I don't know where he is right now. But he was my first teacher. That was during my schooling around 10th or 12th. Those days, the mobile camera, which consists of 2 megapixel, was the biggest camera in the phone. So that was my first thing. And later on, I started observing photography, and after that, I used to see every images. I started learning from every images, and then after my college days, I found out that this is my passion, and I just went forward for it. So this is how I landed up in photography.
Okay, so how did you begin your career? Like, as you said, after college, you found that it was your passion. So how did you get into this field? Because changing from one field to the other, it takes a lot of work, and you have to know certain things about it. So how did you begin?
No, luckily, I was happy to have a course called Electronics and Media Technology, which was a BTech course, which was a sandwich course like electronics and Viscom. So we had studied about photography, we had studied about media production, we studied everything about media. And later on, once I decided this is my go through, I properly went and assisted a photographer who is in the field for years. I assisted with him for years. And only after that, I just gained some knowledge and I just started shooting of myself.
Okay, that's great. So I'm sure it requires some equipment when you begin your photography at first. So how did you train for it? What equipment did you use, or did you go for some courses or something?
No, after college, I didn't go for any particular courses. I just went started off as an assistant. As an assistant, you have to work from the base. They won't teach you anything. You have to learn everything by yourself. So what we'll do is we'll be just carrying the bags, we'll be just carrying the lights, we'll be just setting the lights up. We'll be just allowed to get participate in a very big commercial shoots. But the photographer won't teach you anything. You have to observe the photographer. You have to observe the lighting. You have to observe how it's done. Only from that you can gain some knowledge. So likewise, we started observing how the things are done. Only after that, you get to know the equipments and everything.
Okay. So do you think being a photographer takes any skills, with special skills you would have, or something you would like to develop over the years to, make your mark on the field?
As of now, you should always be ready to learn. You should be keep on learning. This is a process of creativity, and the day by day the content changes. So you should always be willing to learn every time, uh, and you should always be observing the light. Whenever you see a frame, whenever you see anything that's so lovely to you, you should always start observing how the light falls. You should always be ready to learn everything, and you should be keen on observing how the characters are placed, how the lighting is placed, how the shadows reflects. That's everything like that.
I think it's a very good point that you want to explore. I think you should always be open to exploring and discovering things, because
Yeah.
that is what helps you create your impression. All right. So are there any tools or softwares that you use to, design your photographs or like edit those? Or how did you begin with there? Some easy tools which, our mentees can use as a beginner.
As a beginner, I started with a software called Picasa. I'm not sure how many of them know it. It's a small software from Google. So it helps you to edit your photographs in a easy manner. It's not a very big thing. It's a small software. As a beginner, you can start with that. Later on, you can move on to Photoshop and Lightroom. So learning these two professionally will help you more to get your images so clear.
Okay. So is it important that a photographer such as yourself, if somebody wants to come into the field, to have a proper profile, portfolio, anything which you want, like you're a freelance photographer. So is there any requirement, any such requirement you think?
Sorry, I didn't get you.
I said, are there any prerequisites for being a professional photographer such as yours? Anything which a student wants to add in the portfolio, or something which could be added in the CV or something?
For a photographer, your CV doesn't speak. Ultimately, the works of yours is the one which speaks for you. So you should always have a profile that determines yourself and what types of photography that you're interested in, and what is your genre of photography. When you take mine, is it possible for you to screenshot the PPT that I gave? Shivangi,
You
can you
want me to
share the
share the
yeah,
PPT right now?
yeah, can you share the PPT
Yeah, of course.
and go to slide number 4?
Sure, sure. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah, I can see. Just go to slide number 4.
Just a second. Yes.
So this is my genre of photography. So what I do is I do advertising photographs and editorial, food, architecture. Uh, I'm majorly working on these types of photograph. So for this, your portfolio is very important. So you have to keep on building on your portfolio, so that only that will help you to get more works. If you want to have a look of my works, you can just go through below. Just go to the next slide. So yeah,
Just
these are some of my works. Go to the next slide. Next. Yeah, this will do.
So these are your works?
Yeah.
Okay. So I can see that you're a lot into urban photography. Do you also cover the nature aspects of it, or if you have some other interests you uh,
No, I don't do any type of any type of nature or this one. What to say?
okay, so what does your work cover? Like, what kind of photography? Different aspects of it.
Yeah, as I said earlier, it all consists of advertising, editorial, and food and architecture. Architecture.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think is the most difficult or the most hard for you? I mean, among these, something which takes a lot of effort.
No, everything comes with its own thing. When you love your job, you won't find anything difficult to do it. So obviously, the love is the one that matters.
All right. So mentees usually want to know what is the enumeration of or payment of gig amounts that someone can start off with.
I always say that I can't say the enumeration right now. Uh, I always suggest you not to work for free. Uh, so whatever you do, do with love, do with passion, and do with all your knowledge that you have, and try getting at least a minimum of amount for the work that you do. Never ever do a work for free. As a beginner, many people will come to you stating that we don't have budget, we don't have anything. Please do it for free. Please never ever go to the client or never ever do the work. It's
Okay, but there are also a lot of courses which are coming up in photography in recent times. And for those, I think you require internships or something which a student has to pursue to get some experience, beforehand experience. So those internships, they ask you to do it for free. You know, just they say that it won't give you a stipend. So do you think that's necessary for a person who's pursuing a career in that field?
No, as far as internship, you have to do it because you'll be a student when you're doing it. So for a student, I don't think anyone will be paying a large sum for it. Only minimum companies pay you a good amount for the internship. So it's always good to work as an intern in some companies or some agencies, something like that. So, but when you're shooting a project or shooting something, you should never work for free.
All right. So what tips would you give for a person who's pursuing photography? Anything which from your experience, which you think which will help them?
You should always be ready to learn, no matter how even a small guy will teach you something good. So you shouldn't feel that this guy doesn't know anything. The You shouldn't look for anyone bigger to come and teach you the things. You should always be keen on observing every frames. Right now in this digital era, you can have many images around you. So you have the opportunity to have the works of US photographers and many other country photographers. You can have the look at those. You can observe the lightings. You can observe how they frame. You can observe everything, and you can start learning from it. So you should always be ready to learn. That is what the key point, and you should always keep on observing the light. That is what it is.
Okay. So have you faced any challenges in pursuing this field?
No, challenges are everything, everywhere. Particularly when you do it for a passion, you
Any
have to face
challenges?
the challenge. You have to face the challenge.
So what from your experience would you say was your challenge, which took you some work to overcome?
Challenge in work was we'll be trying hard to get the work, but the client will say we don't have any budget. This is what the biggest challenge right now. So since the supply is high, we have to. If I'm not doing the work, someone else will do the work. But they don't know how I will do and how they will do. Only if they understand your value, they will be able to pay you. I do have many clients who come up to me after ending up with some wedding photographers who do advertising works. So for myself, I can't do any wedding works, but so do wedding photographers who does events and who does other things. Won't be able to do this genre of work that I do in a very good manner. That is what the thing is that people like agencies get confused with these photographers. They consider all photographers as one, and they go with the event or wedding photographers and they ask our works to them, and finally they end up with getting some very bad images, and then they can realize the thing that they do, and they come back to us asking for the image. So this is how it happens, and this is right now scenario right now.
Yeah, I'm sure it takes a lot of work to convince them. How do you approach people?
How to approach? How do you
How did
approach
you
people?
start approaching people to show them your pictures?
So the first thing I did was I assisted a photographer. I told you, right? So
Yes, I meant
hello, am I audible?
yes, please continue.
Yeah, I told you, right? I assisted a photographer. So when I assisted a photographer, we used to go to shoots, various shoots, and we used to get a lot more people as friends. We used to get a lot more agencies people come to us. They used to see our works. They used to see how we work over there in the spot, and only they will recognize us and they will give us the work. So this is
Okay.
how I started.
Okay, so there's a question from an attendee. Hello. I am interested in interior photography and I'm
Yeah.
myself studying in interior designing. My question is, how am I supposed to get into the field after graduation?
For interior photography, there are very few interior photographers right now in India who does full and full architecture photography. Architecture photography is quietly different from some other thing. The thing is that how because in architecture, consider you're shooting a hotel room or something like that. You have to have detail in every frame, every portion of the image. Starts from ceiling, you have to have the ceiling detail in ceiling, and from the wall texture, you have to have the wall texture, as well as in the flooring, you have to have the details of the flooring. So every aspect, the details matters in architecture photography. The my suggestion to you is instead of taking up a course or doing something, find out a good architect photographer and go assist them for years and just see how they do works, and you just learn from them and you just started off this going.
Okay, so I think that answers the question. Ishika is asking, can you suggest some media houses or organizations for a freelance photographer?
No, there are many agencies right now in this digital era. Day by day, many agencies are coming up. If you Google up, you can easily find out lots of agencies. But the thing is that mailing them won't work over there. You have to go there, literally meet them in person. You have to show your works, how you do, and you have to explain them how many days you are in this field, and you have to show all your portfolio to them on hand basis, and then only you can proceed to getting into the production houses or the agencies like that.
Okay, so if you're a photographer, can you go into photojournalism. Is that an option? Like you can continue your career, you have to do a separate course for that.
Sorry?
I said if you're a
Can you?
photographer, can you go into photojournalism?
Yeah, photojournalism is a very good thing. Uh, in photojournalism, the difference from advertising and different from photojournalism is the thing is that you have to say a story in an image. Your image has to speak for itself. There should be a story behind it. Consider a person coming to kill me is coming with a knife, and if you are grabbing an image of that, the image has to say what is he gonna do to me. So that is what the photojournalism is. So for that, there is a separate course regarding journalism, I guess. So you have to go through that course.
Okay, so Janvi is asking, I am an event manager. I have several interests in photography after attending several events. I wanted to pursue a course in photography. So what course is better to pursue, PG diploma or masters in photography?
No, if you're taking up this as a individual, you're going to take it up as a freelance work. You can always learn with something as a workshop or as a PG diploma course or something like that. It's not necessary that you have to go for a 1 year course or a 6 months course. Maybe a weekend course will be fine for event photography. You can easily learn from a weekend course. So something like that will help you a lot more. So
Okay.
shooting event is practically easy and a little bit easy.
All right. So can this be also pursued as a side course, like apart from a main course? Can it also be pursued as a side course? Do you think so? Is it
Yeah,
easy
yeah,
enough?
it can be pursued easily. There are lots of courses right now. There are even 1 day courses who teach that.
Okay, so there's a person asking, how do you politely ask people to pay for your work, as most of the time they always brush it off saying it's just a picture. So
No,
what do you think?
it always happens. It always happens. There are a lot of people who ask us to work for free. The thing is that never go near the client.
Okay,
Never
so
ever go near the client. If you do
what
one
create
thing,
your mark?
if you do one thing for the budget that they give, you will be end up doing all the shoot for them at the same budget. So never ever do or sacrifice the budget that you require. So always feel free to ask what you're right for.
Right. So what do you think creates the mark? Like the person understands your value and values you as a photographer. What creates the mark?
Obviously, your work speaks for yourself, nothing else. Once they see your work, the people who know the job will always understand your work. So it's always easy to convince the people, convince the right people in the sense.
All right, thank you. There's Arvin asking, I'm not a qualified photographer, but I have been doing photography as a hobby. I am a working professional. I mainly do food and landscape photography. What are some of the prerequisites that I should keep ready before I should start approaching the bodies, organizations?
Just come back to this question.
He's saying that he has been doing some photography and he's a working professional. He
Okay.
mainly captures food and landscape photography. So what are some of the prerequisites which he should have before he starts approaching the organization?
I didn't get you. He's doing something food and nature photography.
Landscape, yes.
Yeah. What was the next one?
The prerequisites, like what does he need? Some of the ideas or some general idea before he should start approaching the people. How should he continue in the field?
Oh, he's but he's doing this for as a hobby, right? Is he doing for his living?
No, he's mentioned he's a working professional, but he is doing it as a hobby. He's not a qualified photographer.
Okay. In that case, always you have to look for some good agency who believes in your works. Because doing this as a hobby won't help you in a commercial way. That is what it is. Am I audible? Shivangi, I'm not able to hear.
Yes, yes. You're audible.
Yeah, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm not able to see your video. Stuck.
So there's Prachi asking, hello?
Yeah, audible. You can go ahead. Do you hear me?
Is it better now?
Yeah, better now.
Okay, I'll switch on the video in a while. I think there's some connection issue, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem.
So there's Prachi asking, I love clicking pictures and I'm fond of photography in nature, wedding and photo shoots. I've done my graduation and now I'm confused how to start to go about in photography.
In order to become a professional, you said that you're interested in nature, wedding, and something else. What is the next one?
Photo shoots.
Yeah, photo shoots in the sense.
I think wedding and nature photo shoots.
Yeah, okay. This is a different. Both are different genres. Wedding requires entirely different type of procedure, and nature requires the entirely different types of procedure. So for shooting a wedding, you have to be very keen on time. The time matters in a wedding. You can't get any shot repeated or any moment repeated in the while shooting a wedding photography. But in nature, you have to wait for the process. You have to entirely wait for the sunset, or you have to entirely wait for a flower to bloom or something that like that. You have to entirely wait, and it's a truly patience process. So, having to both of a contrast type of photography, you have to literally decide which is the one that exactly triggers you and which is the one you are exactly fond of. So, once after finalizing that, you have to go in the correct way.
Okay. So what about moving photography? What views do you have in that? Do you have some experience in that?
What about movie
Move,
photography?
huh?
For movie, right now the works takes part as two process. We do a first look for movies which get released as a first look, as you all know, and then there is other process called continuity photography. So these are the two entirely different process which gets carried out in movie. For the movie, for the first look, it's entirely done in a studio based on how the character is, how the script of the movies, and what environment or what location the movie is carried out. So you have to entirely shoot on the basis of the entire script. So that is what that is how we work for first look. When it comes to this one, continuity photographs, those are done by continuity photographers who just who just captures every frames of the shoot in order to follow continuity. So continuity in the sense how consider if I have buttoned the shirt in the previous shot and next shot I have opened the button. This will be a continuity mistake when you see a movie. So this matters in the movie. So in order to avoid all those things, or if I have a watch, or if I have something else in my hand, or if I have my mobile in some place, and in the next frame the mobile is removed or something like that, it really matters. It shows as a jump in edit. So in order to avoid that, they do this continuity photographs. So these are the two types of works that gets carried out in a movie.
Okay. So there's also a question, what all things need to be considered for selecting a good camera and lens, as I am interested in landscape and wildlife photography?
It's a good genre. Uh, so for a camera, I say never ever buy a camera for you. This is what my stand is, because if you see, I'm a photographer and I don't own any camera right now. Right now, even from the start, I don't own any camera. The thing is that buying a camera right now is you're supposed to invest a large sum over there, and the day you purchase, the next day comes a new camera. So it's entirely, you just bought a camera, but the next day a new camera gets launched. So the thing is that your camera gets outdated. So it's always, as a professional or as a professional, I never recommend to go buy a camera or something like that. So always rent it out. Just go with what your feel is. And for nature photography, do consider wide angle lenses. Go with lots of wide angle lenses. And for the wildlife photography, go with lots of telephoto lenses. So those lenses will help you to capture those images.
Right, right. So I think the mobile cameras are also a lot in fashion. Do you think they do a good role, or they are suitable for capturing such images?
As a mobile camera, it's always very good for framing. You can learn framing through mobile camera. Apart from that, even now there are a lot of camera right now, but mobile cameras helps you to learn framing. That's it. Nothing more than that. In order to learn professionally, you have to go for a good camera right now.
Makes sense.
So
So
many people say that they have a 48 pixel or a 58 pixel or 108 pixel. So that doesn't matter. Obviously, a good camera will stand out for itself.
right, right, obviously. So Arvin is asking, is there any site which is useful for freelancer? Is there any site they can take experience from?
For freelancer, you can go for a site called freelancer.com. There is a site called Freelancer or Weber, something like that. You can easily take up works from there. You can show your portfolio over there, as well as you can bid for your works. So after bidding for your works, you can take up works from there.
All right. So as you captured some pictures of food and you're interested in food photography as well. So there's a question. I'm interested in food photography, so wanted a few tips to click better images.
It depends upon the restaurant that you're shooting for. Always look after the branding color that goes with the restaurant. So first check with the restaurant and first check with the branding colors. What are the colors they are using in the brand, and just go with the props with the colors of the brand, so that you can match the brand easily. Uh, as far as framing the products, you have to look for particular angles. So certain food look good in considering pizzas. It looks very good in the top angles or 45-degree angle. So those angles will work for food, and you have to keep on observing which angle looks for good for food.
All right, all right. And I think there are a lot of issues arising for the lighting as well. Like you don't know when the lighting is correct, or when it's night mode. So what do you think people should do in that case?
No, when you are shooting as a professional, you won't go for auto mode. You always go with the manual mode. So even as a beginner, don't go with the auto mode. I always suggest you to go with the manual mode. Just learn, do mistakes, learn from your mistakes. So never ever go for an auto mode. Auto mode will easily give you a good image. No matter what it is, will give you an image that satisfies you. But don't get satisfied with the image of that given by auto mode. Just go for the one in the manual mode.
Right, right, of course. So as you mentioned that your work speaks for itself, but as a beginner, I wouldn't know what work is good or what is wanted by the organization or what is in trend. So how do I make my step for that? How do I
So
know
that,
that this is right?
so that is what I told that after studying or after buying a camera, it doesn't mean that you're a photographer. You have to go get into the field, learn from the people who are experienced. Only after that you can know where you are right now. So nowadays the trend is right now everybody is a photographer right now. Everybody who wants a camera is a photographer right now. They just buy a camera today. The next day they open a photography page in Facebook, state that so and so photography. So that is a trend right now. So I always recommend you not to do that. Uh, Once you buy a camera, you're not a photographer. You're just a owner of the camera. So in order to learn the skill, you have to literally work and you have to learn it. Only the thing that helps you.
Right, right. There's also Parneet asking, is Insta Mini 9 a good camera for a beginner? Insta Mini 9.
Insta Mini 9 is if you love Polaroids, you can easily go for it. Love for Polaroid is it helps you.
I think clicking Polaroids is a different genre as well. I mean, it takes a lot of, you have to set the angle right and clicks pictures very rapidly. Do you have any experience in that area? In
Right
Polaroid?
now, even there are a lot of digital. Even in Instax, there is a digital camera which lets you choose which one you want as a print. You can take nearly 4 images, or you can go with the one image that you want. But those shooting in digital is not that viable right now. Always go with the previous one. Go for the one that shoots out and comes immediately.
Okay, okay. So Alekhya is asking, what are the challenges you faced when transforming from photography to cinematography?
So there is some break. I'm not able to hear you.
I said, what are the challenges you faced when transforming from photography to cinematography?
Yeah, this is a very good question. The thing is that the people who I work with, agencies which I work with, always had seen me as a photographer or a photographer. So those people, it's really hard to make them believe that I'm a cinematographer too, and I do the cinematography works too. So this is the one the toughest part in the field right now.
So how did you come up with that? Like, how did you approach the agencies? What was your take on that?
Ultimately, your work speaks for yourself. I started working on cinematography projects, and after getting the projects, I did my show reel. And with the help of the show reel, they were able to understand we are capable to work with it. So we just went on with it. So obviously, wherever you go, your works will speak for yourself. So you need not market yourself, or you need not do anything.
Right.
If you're very good at your work, the works will come to you. You need not go running behind it. So learn the trade, and then you can go with it.
Okay. So Avan is asking, what should I take with me to approach the agencies and clients?
Obviously, your portfolio is the one that helps you to get into the agencies. You have to have a very good portfolio. Uh, the first impression should be very good.
Of course. So, like you mentioned, you work in a lot of genres. Do you think a person can work in all of those genres, or should they be focused on only one?
No, it's always better to go with the one genre or the genre that you feel are comfortable or you are loving with. So this is the one that we recommend. We don't recommend you to do all types of photography. You don't. I don't recommend any of the that such. So do whatever you love and whatever you feel like doing it. So you should be very happy while doing it.
Right, right. Prati is asking how to start to go in photography as a beginner.
As a beginner, as I said, you have to be keen on observing. You have to be keen on learning. You should be looking after every images in magazines or digital world or something like that. You should be keen on observing every images and you should be learning from that.
Okay, so I think that ends up the questions we had.
Okay.
There's also one from phone. I'm getting a little bit difficulty to get a proper picture. So can I get a good picture in phone? So can you suggest some ideas on how to get a good picture in phone?
In order to get good picture in phone, you should always observe the light. So you should always know where the light falls. Some people, what they will do is they will be standing behind the light uh, and they will be shooting. They will be placing the subject behind the light and they'll be shooting it. So always the subject should be opposite to the light. So make sure the subject is in the correct position in order to get a better image.
Right. So I think that comes to the end of all the questions. If mentees, you have any other question, you can put it now. Other than that, Samuel, like, do you have anything to say for persons who, people who are working as a beginner or who want to start a career, other than the things you've already mentioned?
Uh, Things that I recommend is never work for free, and as well as learn the skill.
Okay, okay.
And
This one last, how to
yeah,
find out about renting agencies? Like you mentioned, there are agencies who rent out cameras, right? So how
yeah.
do you find out about those?
There are a lot of agencies. Those are not the agencies. Those are called as rental houses. You can just Google it as rental houses for the cameras that you need. You can easily find it out. Even in Bangalore, Chennai, most of the cities you can easily find it out. The people renting it out. So always rent it out and you just do the shoots. So never invest a huge sum buying a large camera or something like that. And the next day you get ended up with landing up with a new camera.
Okay. So the movie photography which you mentioned, how is that different? I mean, I know both are different things, but how, what other special skills does it take to be a movie photographer?
Movie photographer in the sense it's similar to of advertising photography. So in advertising, if you are shooting for a brand, you will look for, after every brand elements for the brand. Consider if you are shooting for any shampoo ad or something like that, or consider if you are shooting for a soap or something like that. You have to be keen on what are the colors that they use for the brand, so that you have to incorporate the same in the costumes of the uh, models. The same is followed in movie, so it's nothing different. In movie, you have to entirely depend on the character and where the location the movie is happening. So in order to, you have to always keep in mind the script and the character of the antagonist or protagonist that you're going to shoot. So entirely based on the characters, you have to if based on the character, the costume has to be, and based on the costume, the background has to be, and you can't shoot a rural-based subject in a urban-based environment, as well as the same vice versa. So entirely the location, the character of the subject, uh, and the costumes and the lighting really matters.
Yeah, of course, that's what brings out a great picture, right?
Yeah.
So I think that comes to the end of all the questions. So thank you so much, Sample, for joining us today. It was a very interesting session, and you showed us some pictures from your experience as well. Apart from that, you also gave us ideas on how to pursue different genres and movie photography as well, as you mentioned right now. So I would like to thank you for taking out your time and giving it to my captain. A big thank to the mentees as well for joining us today. I'm sure they had a very interesting session. Is there any last thing you'd like to say before we wrap it up?
No, nothing much. I'd like to wrap it up.
All
Thank
right,
you.
great. Then we'll wrap up the session. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night, guys. Stay safe.